By the time Crow's aircraft wheels kissed the runway, word had already outrun him. In war, facts travel slowly, but rumors move like fire. 8 enemy pilots. 3 minutes. 1 aircraft. 1 rifle. By the time Crow shut down his engine, the story had already grown teeth. Some said he'd used a new secret weapon. Others swore he'd had help in the air that radar somehow missed. A few, the ones who had laughed the loudest, chose silence, because disbelief was safer than admitting they had been wrong. Crow didn't wait for applause. He walked straight to the debriefing room, helmet tucked under his arm, jacket smelling of fuel and cold air. Inside, command staff stood frozen around the table, eyes fixed on maps and screens that still showed the empty space where 8 hostile signals had vanished. The senior officer finally looked up. "Sit down, Lieutenant." Crow remained standing. "I'd rather not." That alone raised eyebrows. "Fine," the officer said. "Explain." Crow did, calmly, step by step. No exaggeration, no flourish. He explained how the enemy formation flew predictably under pressure, how their confidence made them aggressive but careless, how his rifle, tuned for stability and precision under vibration, allowed him to fire when cannons would have scattered. When he finished, no one spoke for a long moment. Finally, someone said what everyone else was thinking. "That rifle shouldn't work." Crow nodded. "It shouldn't," he agreed. "Unless you build it to." They took the rifle. Not from him, not officially, but for examination. Engineers swarmed it like ants, measuring, testing, arguing. Every report came back the same. The rifle violated assumptions. It didn't break rules. It simply ignored expectations. Crow was reassigned that afternoon. No longer a routine patrol pilot. He became something else. An answer to a question the enemy hadn't realized they were asking yet. And answers, in wartime, are dangerous. The enemy noticed the losses immediately. 8 pilots didn't just disappear without consequence. Recon flights pulled back. Aggression slowed. Commanders demanded explanations that no one could give. Intelligence reports grew thick with speculation, experimental weapons, elite aces, hidden squadrons. Crow became a ghost in their briefings. On his own side, reactions were divided. Some treated him like a savior, others like a liability. He didn't fit their stories. Heroes were supposed to smile for cameras, to give interviews, to make the war easier to believe in. Crow did none of that. He kept flying, kept adjusting his rifle, kept returning with results that made planners uncomfortable. Because miracles expose failure. Every time Crow succeeded, it raised an unspoken question. Why hadn't anyone thought of this sooner? The mockery didn't disappear overnight. It changed shape. Men who once laughed now joked nervously, calling him mailman or catalog killer. They meant it kindly. Mostly. Crow didn't correct them. He knew better than to mistake acceptance for understanding. The missions intensified. Enemy pilots adapted, spreading out, altering formations. Crow adapted faster. He learned their new patterns the way a hunter learns terrain, patiently, ruthlessly. Each engagement took something from him. Not fear, not doubt, something quieter. Sleep became lighter. Silence grew heavier. He started seeing faces when he closed his eyes. Not the men he shot down, but the ones he didn't. Pilots he'd seen break formation, panic in their movements, realizing too late that skill couldn't save them from surprise. War doesn't ask permission to mark you. One night, long after curfew, a mechanic found Crow sitting alone beside his aircraft, rifle disassembled across his knees. "You ever think about stopping?" the mechanic asked. Crow didn't look up. "Stopping what?" "This," the man said. "Being this." Crow considered the pieces in his hands. Metal shaped by intention, not destiny. "Someone will always fill the gap," he said. "I just happen to fit it right now." The mechanic didn't have an answer for that. Neither did the war. The enemy finally tried something new. They baited him. A small formation crossed into contested airspace. Sloppy on purpose, daring response. Command hesitated. Everyone knew what this was. A trap designed specifically for Crow. He volunteered anyway. "If they want me," he said, "they'll get me. If they don't, they'll lose more." He was cleared to fly with restrictions, escorts, limits, contingencies. He ignored half of them the moment he was airborne. The sky was different that day. Too quiet. Too empty. Crow felt it before he saw it. The subtle shift in air pressure, the absence of chaos where there should have been noise. He slowed, scanning. Then the trap closed. Enemy fighters erupted from cloud cover, more than he'd ever faced alone. Not 8, 12, maybe more. For the first time, Crow's heart rate spiked. Not fear, calculation. This wasn't about shooting anymore. This was about survival. He fired when he could, taking down one, then another, but the sky was crowded now. Trails crossed. Engines screamed. Metal tore through air at impossible speeds. Crow's aircraft took a hit. Warning lights flared. Control stiffened. He fought the stick, teeth clenched, mind narrowing to essentials. Get out or go down. He made his choice. Crow dove into cloud cover, using turbulence to mask his movement. Enemy pilots hesitated, a mistake born of discipline. Crow used it. One last shot. Clean. Then he vanished. They never confirmed the kill. They never confirmed his escape either. Radar lost him for minutes that felt like hours. When he finally limped back to base, aircraft scarred and smoking, no one laughed. No one spoke. They helped him down, hands steady, voices quiet like a church. Crow handed over the rifle without a word. That night, command grounded him indefinitely. Official reasons. Unofficial fear. Men like Crow were reminders that war could be rewritten by individuals, and institutions didn't like being reminded of that. He didn't protest. He packed his things the next morning. No ceremony, no medal presentation yet. Just a transport truck and a long road away from the airfield where a mail-order rifle had changed the sky. Years later, historians would argue about him. Some would say the story was exaggerated. Others would insist classified files proved even more than the rumors. Engineers would quietly incorporate his ideas into new designs, never mentioning his name. Crow didn't care. He disappeared into civilian life, carrying less than he arrived with, except memory. But pilots remembered. Whenever a formation broke unexpectedly, whenever a veteran warned a rookie not to underestimate quiet men, whenever someone scoffed at improvised weapons, they remembered the day laughter died on a runway. They remembered the man who didn't need permission to make history. And they remembered this truth. It wasn't the rifle they mocked. It was the man holding it. If you felt this story, if you believe quiet courage deserves to be remembered, subscribe now to the channel, Her Battlefield Legacy, for more powerful, cinematic war stories that honor the unseen and the underestimated. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? Your voice matters, just like his did.